So are you guys ready for a brand new DCU update? Oh, and is this one going to be packed with some very interesting information? So Zack Snyder finally breaks his silence on returning to the DC universe. And I'm going to play this video, and then we're going to talk about some stuff. So stay tuned for the video, but before I show the video, well, actually, you know what? I'm going to start with that video. And then I'll talk about the smaller stuff after the fact.
Well, I have to ask because your name keeps popping up. It's popped up recently. There's been a change up at DC. You're not treated well by Warner Brothers, and though, thank God we got Zack Snyder's Justice League, because
oh my gosh,
that is it's a masterpiece. I watch that goddamn thing all the time. I love it. So we've heard some things, and everyone's kind of they blurted it out, and they're pulling back a little bit. Is this all just much ado about nothing? Is it a possibility you might be reintegrated back into that world?
Well, as far as I know, which is very little, I'm doing my thing, and haven't had anyone give me a call or anything. So I'm just wishing them all the best and hoping that they make some cool movies.
Okay, because your stamp is across that whole,
yeah,
the Snyderverse.
And then when I saw Henry Cavill enter into the Black Adam world,
yeah,
I was like, oh, I hope this means more for Zack.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that I have your guys' support. That's very kind.
I'll write a letter for you if you want.
I mean, hey.
Yes.
Can't hurt.
But, the truth be told, I'm having an amazing time making this giant movie that I'm working on, and I couldn't be happier. So I really wish them all the best.
All right, so that's from Zack Snyder's mouth. At the end of this video, I'm going to talk about my feelings on the video and what I think is actually happening behind the scenes, and I'll even prove it through some things that have happened in the past. But I want to talk about a couple of other things first. One of the big stories that has been making the rounds over the last couple of days, and this was also hinted at in my last video, Jason Momoa. He's advertising a big event coming up that is his dream DC job. He was on Entertainment Tonight in Canada, and or in Europe, I can't remember which one, and he was asked about this, and he said, yes, he is going to be working on a DC dream job, basically. What is that dream job? Well, we then move over to one of these social media platforms that James Gunn is on. I don't know why all these creators have to be on different social media platforms, but he said, basically, follow me over there, and he posted a picture of Lobo from the comic books. So everyone's putting two and two together, saying that he is going to be Lobo, that, Jason Momoa will be playing Lobo in the future. Now, first of all, I think Lobo is a risky character. I know the character. A lot of DC fans will know the character, but will it be a mainstream hit for the rest of the public? This could be another Black Adam situation. Okay, but let's talk about Jason Momoa playing the character. Too many people said he's so well known for Aquaman, you can't stick him in the role as Lobo. Really? Have you seen what Lobo looks like? I'm going to point to another person who's played multiple characters in the DC universe. We've got Mark Strong. Okay? He was Sinestro in Green Lantern. Looked amazing. But then he played the bad guy in Shazam. Would you even have any idea, if you didn't know who the actor was, that those were the two same people? No, you wouldn't. I think it's the same situation with Jason Momoa as Aquaman. He could totally play Lobo without a hitch. Now, they went back to Jason Momoa and specifically asked him about this. He said he couldn't talk about it, but he said if you do some research, you will find out who his favorite character is and something that he's very familiar with. And I have a feeling that's going to come up Lobo. So he said anybody can search the web and get that information. So that was kind of interesting. The next story I want to talk about is Blue Beetle. So that movie is in the can. It's done. They're probably working on special effects, getting it prepped for next year, which is now going to be a theatrical release. Well, you have George Lopez is in the movie, and he kind of spouted his mouth yesterday and said that Batman is in the movie. So he said Batman is going to be in Blue Beetle, and he didn't say. Everyone's assuming it's going to be Ben Affleck, and I do believe it's going to be Ben Affleck as well. This goes to show that David Zaslav and them are kind of taking all of these characters and bouncing them around in other films as supporting roles to show that everything is connected. They even talked about how James Gunn would have liked to have used Ben Affleck and also, who else was missing? Cyborg, and that Warner Brothers wouldn't let him do that. And that's the other rumor, too, is that Cyborg will be back as well because they are planning Justice League 2, apparently. And there are some heavy rumors out there, and again, I stress that these are rumors, that Andy Muschietti, who is directing The Flash, is going to be directing Justice League 2, and then when they talk about the Maestro, that's who they're talking about. There is actually a video out there of Ezra Miller saying that he is the Maestro. And we don't know who Jason Momoa is referring to when he said the Maestro in his video. Everyone assumes it is Zack Snyder. So let's talk about the Zack Snyder part of the story. All right, so you guys all saw the video. What does this mean? Absolutely nothing. Okay, I work in the entertainment industry. What you have to understand is that, first of all, let's talk about other people who've said they are done, and they're clearly back. Now, Henry Cavill never said he's done. He always wanted to play the character again, but he was supposedly done. You had Ben Affleck on several occasions hint that he was done. He never flat out said it, but he hinted at it. He's back. You had Christopher Nolan, who left Warner Brothers and wouldn't work with the old Warner Brothers regime, but he just had lunch with David Zaslav, Peter Safran, along with Steven Spielberg just late last week. There are things that happen behind the scenes in productions. You have to understand that there are many parts to these productions. When I do a voiceover on one part of an overall production, there's music involved, there's video involved, there's all kinds of stuff, and I don't get to see that side of it. I only know my part of it. And if I sign an NDA, which means a non-disclosure agreement, I can't even talk about it. So to have Zack Snyder up there saying, you know, nobody's contacted me, that might be true. Does that mean he won't be back in the future? No, that doesn't mean anything. It just means he hasn't been contacted yet. And if he has been contacted, he's not going to be able to say it during that interview. He was being very gracious. We already know that he wants to work with Henry Cavill again. He even came out and said it the day he was announced back as Superman. You have to see what's happening behind the curtain and look at the little tidbits that are being released. We know that Zack Snyder has been working on a Final Crisis type project from last Thanksgiving. We know that he's been planning that off on the side. We know he's got a contract with Netflix, and if he's got a contract with Netflix, he can't talk about working with another company. He wouldn't be able to publicly come out and say it because that's going to hurt the brand that he's working on. He needs to focus on making Rebel Moon as popular and as successful as he can make it, okay? He can't go and start talking about projects he's not working on and can't be working on until his contract is up with Netflix. He can't even talk about it. Does this mean he is definitively gone? No. Does it mean he's definitively back? No. The point is, we don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but I guarantee you things are happening. I would like to see Zack Snyder back. I think a lot of people would. He could be doing a lot. He did more for the DC universe than anybody has done. Even those people who say, you know, all his movies were failures, they didn't make enough money. If you look at the amount of people he got into the theaters, yes, his movies cost more. But the amount of money that they made was more than the DC movies make today. He got more people in the seats than the current films do. And when you look at one of the most successful films, which was Aquaman, it broke over $1 billion. Zack Snyder was a part of that too, but people don't ever really discuss that. So he has been the maestro behind the scenes for a lot of the things that have occurred that have been the biggest, most successful projects for Warner Brothers. So if they want to make money and their stock is at the lowest it's been since the merger, announce that Zack Snyder is coming back. And what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to release a slate of what their plans are, I think, before the end of the year is up. So there are a lot of moving pieces right now, and I'm going to be covering all of it as it happens. So stick to my channel. I will talk about things if they're rumor. I'll tell you when things are definitive. I'm never going to lie to you or lead you on. That is not what my channel is. I'm just going to be getting all the information and bringing it to you guys. All right, I do appreciate the support. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, the notification bell. You will be notified as I have new videos go up. We will see you guys on the next video.